There we go. Kind of screwed up a bit, but it doesn't matter. Chris, you can talk now. We can talk. We're live.
And our theme song's kicking in right now. Oh, hang on, it's the delay
That's
that
because
I'm
you're
getting
listening to your browser. Don't listen to your browser, Christopher.
amateurs. Hey guys, welcome to episode 63 of the Virtual Boys podcast.
We're live
I'm Chris, this
again.
is Ryan, and we do know what we're doing, kind of, sort of. Each
I'll
and every Thursday.
I'll put this up right now, guys. Let us
Live.
know how the
Ryan,
audio
I can't hear
is.
you.
Hey, what? You can't hear me?
And I'm not sure if that's on my end or your end. Let's just take a quick
Oh
look
my
here.
god! You heard me
Yeah,
2 seconds ago.
it's a you thing.
How
I
is it
mean,
a
it's a
me
me
thing?
thing. Just hold on tight. There we go.
Can you? Well, yeah. Can you hear me now, though?
I can, but I'm having problems. Sorry, guys.
Oh my
Oh
goodness!
my god.
This was all working right before we went live, guys. We had this relatively set up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
I don't know. Here we go.
I'm gonna go to chat then. I'm
There we
gonna go
go.
to chat. Oh, you can hear me now?
I'm good. We are up. I am
Oh,
good.
so I like when it's your fault for a change. It's never it's never your fault.
Okay, can we just start this over again? Guys, welcome to episode 63 of the Virtual Boys podcast. I am Chris. This is Ryan. And
What's up, guys?
each and every Thursday, we are live on our channel, the VR Grid, and we are talking VR all the time. Today's topic, we want to talk about if it is worth waiting to play games that you want to play on the PSVR 2. So these could be games that are upcoming. These are games that are already on the Quest, and it's kind of a thing. I think that a lot of people are playing that game now, whether they want to wait. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, guys. If you're in chat, thank you all for being here. It's awesome to see you all. Please consider hitting the like button and participating in chat. We love watching chat. We're really enjoying the live stuff.
We really are. It's actually quite fun, especially the end of the last episode. But if you don't know what we're talking about, then you have to go back and watch it.
Awesome. Yeah,
Ah,
lots of familiar names. Angel, how's it going? Mark, Faze, all these names. I can't. I'm not gonna start reading through them. Let's get on to
doesn't sound like you know how to read.
I know it
Mark Faze, I don't know words.
doesn't. um, let's get on to
What have you been playing, Chris?
I know. I was just about to ask you
Can you
that.
hold on? Before you answer, give me just 2 seconds so I can set up my thing so we're not messing the audio up. And I do apologize for this in advance, guys, but just due to some shenanigans on our end, of course, it's not going to work now.
So while Ryan's doing this, I'm gonna answer Faze your question there, Faze. So Ryan and I were talking about this at the end of the last episode. The format that we're gonna try to do
Or it's not
with
going to work.
the podcast is obviously we've always wanted to be a topic focused podcast and bring you guys and into the chat, like with it being live. So we are paying attention to chat. We will answer chat, but for the most part, what we're going to be doing is kind of keeping an eye on chat. And for some of the questions, like you just asked, of can we play PS4 games on the new PSVR 2? We're going to make some notes as we go throughout the podcast about questions that might have come up. And when we kind of near the end of the podcast and we've kind of done our topic, we'll turn to chat and we'll turn to the questions that we've already made a note of. So we will address those questions, but we're going to try to prevent things from going off the rails completely.
Chris, talk about your game. This isn't working, so just to go. What have you been playing? I know we've been playing because you put a review up today.
Yeah, I've been playing a few things. I guess most notably Espire 2. And if you guys haven't checked my review out on that, consider doing so. It's I don't know. I guess I won't jump into it too much because most of my thoughts are already in the review. But Espire 2 is I just it's frustrating because Espire 2 has some really good ideas and some really good bones. It's definitely a lot more ambitious than say a lot of games that we've gotten as of late. It just feels like sometimes maybe it's too ambitious for digital load, like maybe for their team size. It's just they're taking on a pretty big endeavor trying to do like a full stealth action game in the vein of Metal Gear Solid. And they obviously, after two attempts at this now, the doing having a really robust AI is kind of seems to be a bit beyond them, and that's really it's unfortunate, but at the same time, somebody made a comment today saying that it suffers from Dishonored syndrome in the fact that it's a game that gives you so many options like Dishonored did, so many movement options, so many um choices in this playground of stealth, but it can't keep up with it. It's too
Mhm.
mu it's too easy to break the system. It's too easy to break the AI and take advantage of it because the AI that you're going up against just isn't equipped to deal with basic situations, let alone the fact that you can do all these things.
All these things, eh? Yeah, I feel that. I mean, just the way you described it to me, it sounded so much like the first game, at least how I remember the first game, where even though it's fixed and better, you said, compared to the first game, it still sounds like it suffers from the same shortcomings, I guess, more or less.
Yeah, it's got
It's got co-op, though. You did. I know you did enjoy the co-op.
I did enjoy the co-op.
There you go.
But and I was saying in the review, it's not that the co-op makes the game like any of the game systems better. You just don't care as much because it just becomes the game is at its best when you can just mess around and also I guess it's also at its best when you play it really strictly the way the developers want to. Like if you play like a hardcore, like I was saying in the review, I don't know if I necessarily like made my point. Hey Rogue, how's it going? Welcome to chat. I don't know if I made my point very clear in the review in that if you play the game where like if you get caught, you're dead. Like if you in your head, if you just go in there with that objective of like, I'm going to play this mission, um, like insta death. Like if I get caught, I'm restarting.
Hmm.
The game's pretty good. Like it, like I mean, you can take advantage of the fact that the bad guys won't look up and that they're kind of deaf and things like that. But for the most part, you can still kind of everything. It does a good job of looking like a really competent stealth game. It's when you start to like realize, oh, you didn't hear me do that. Oh, you didn't see me do that. But you did see me do that. You just don't care. Like it has, but but I know Gamertag in his review brought up a really good point. Is that it's inconsistent. Like it it has they've got obviously algorithms set in place that the AI will do certain things, but it's inconsistent and it makes it look almost more dumb because it doesn't feel organic. For example, like if they're if they've heard you and they're looking for you, I was hiding in a closet, and at one point, the one guy's like, "Huh, I better check this," and he actually opened the thing. Like he had no reason to check it, but it was like a random, like it was probably a bit of a roll of a dice in the AI there. And he opened it up. It's like, oh shit! And I was fumbling for for my pistol to like pop him in the head, and that was awesome. But it's like but then at the exact same time, that guy could turn around and go, "Oh, nothing to see here." And I could, like, walk up right behind him after that and be like, "Hey, bud, what what's up?" Like, it's inconsistent and it rats itself out, so,
What's up,
whatever.
GT? It looks like the guy that agreed with your review is also in the chat.
Yeah, welcome, GT. Yeah, I enjoyed his review. I was really worried that I'd been too hard on Espire. So it was really nice. It was really nice to see. I
It is
went I
nice when, yeah, when they agree.
First thing I
Other
did
reviewers agree with
first thing
you.
I did, I was like, "Okay, so GT's probably got a review." So I typed in here, I'm like, "Okay, did he think the same things I did?" And I was like and I was like, "Oh, good. Excellent." He thought all the same things. I was just thought maybe I was, like, out of touch and I was just, like, had a hate on for the game or something, so
Yeah.
anyways,
All right.
I mean, I've been playing that, what else have I played a little bit of, I've been playing a little bit of pool in Forever for, VR pool. Yeah.
Forever Pool.
It's a forever game. You and I talked about that. I feel like it's nice for some people to that exists because I'm sure something exists, but I can't really think of anything significant that did kind of this kind of bar game type of situation like with any level of quality. Um
I'll give the Forever games that. I mean, they're consistent in their quality.
since the why is it escaping me the game that we were just talking about today, the bar bar game on PSVR.
Sports bar? The
Sports bar VR. There we go.
yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Is it okay? You to stop talking there.
I know. I'm sorry. I got reading something that GT was
Okay,
saying.
so yeah, I mean, Forever Pool, we know Forever Games. They put out quality content. The same lobby, obviously different sports, up to 4 sports now. I would love to see a collection of those things put together, but I mean, what you're saying there, it sounds like they put out, like, it's more of the same from them in regards to quality, as in it's good.
Yeah, and I haven't like really jumped into the game yet. It's like Aspire was kind of the priority and a few other things that are on the back burner there too that can't really talk about. But I did hear that there's doors that you can go through that will like launch the next game. So they've connected them in that way. But like I was saying to Ryan, it would be really nice, I think, for the social people if they kind of made their own little forever metaverse. I can't believe I just used that term. Ugh.
You did.
But where you could just group up with your friends and be like, "What do you want to do tonight?" Like, make it like a rec room, but it's like a virtual version of some kind of like evening space that you might go to with friends in real life, and just be like, "What do you guys want to do?" "Oh yeah, let's throw some axes. Let's play cornhole." I don't have the maturity to say that. Uh, Darts, bowling, pool. Like if all these, and I'm sure they've got a few more things coming. And if they could put all those into one thing, that would be great. I
I
don't
agree.
I don't know. It's I don't know, pool on its own as a standalone. I don't know. Whatever. It is. It's just I don't want to call it shovelware because it's good.
Yeah.
It's well made stuff. But like you said, I feel like the Forever games are starting to become a little.
They're samey, even though they're different sports. They're samey, and they do feel like they could be. They do feel like they could belong in a collection. $40 for all 4 games sounds like a better deal than $15 for each one. Just because we've seen other collections of games. So I do understand where you're coming from. I'm not denying the quality of the Forever games by any stretch. It just does feel like they could be bundled in some way other than how they are presented currently.
Yeah,
Yes? All right.
yeah,
Now I want to talk. Can I talk about my game?
yeah. Sure. Do you talk about your gem of a game?
Well, no, no, no. I'm not Broken Edge. Look, Broken Edge. I'm gonna wait. The review's gonna go up later on tonight, guys. Broken Edge is a game that, I mean, don't buy it while you're listening to this podcast. I guess that's the best I'll say right now, at least until you've heard what I had to say. But Broken Edge, it's a sword. It's a dueling sword game where you face off against AI or players online. But it's not like physics based, like you're picturing swordsman. It's basically like as soon as you connect once with somebody, you kind of like go back from each other and then like slowly come towards each other again. Now I'm talking about it. Um, but it's just it's not, if you're looking for a sword game, this isn't really it. It feels like a weird kind of like who can touch each other who first, and as soon as it does, you reset. It's hard to describe. It really is.
That explanation sounded very dirty. Who
But
can
it
touch whoever
but
first?
it is only you're touching with your sword. You're only touching with your tips, right?
Doesn't sound better.
Like I said, like Broken Edge is just it's a game I struggle to review. It's weird. It looks cool. It's from Trebuchet. I do like some of the things they did in that game. I just did dislike almost just as much as what they did in that game. So for myself, it's just when I think of a VR sword battler, that's not what I want to play ultimately when it comes down to it. So yeah, Broken Edge, meh. But the game I do want to talk about, and the game that kind of sparked the idea for this conversation, and let's see if I can do this properly, is sort of got it here. Moss Book 2. Moss Book 2, for you guys that didn't know, actually like shadow dropped on PC like a few weeks ago. And I say shadow drop because there was like no hype whatsoever behind it. And there were some issues behind that in regards to the hype. Specifically, um, they just kind of didn't have their shit together, I guess. And it kind of just dropped. So not a lot of people covered it. There is some coverage out there, but it was the PC release for Moss Book 2, a game I played on both the Quest 2 and PSVR headsets. So I was kind of like the PC version should be the ultimate version to play, right? Like the PSVR version looked great, but obviously suffers from the incredibly awful screen door effect and the dual shock tracking, which is just god awful. Even though you don't use it a ton in that game, you still have to like manipulate stuff with the dual shock. And the second that thing turns away from the camera, it's garbage. So it was the worst way to play. The Quest 2, obviously, much cleaner with their track controllers, but the visuals were dialed back. It's still a beautiful looking game on the Quest 2, and I highly recommend those who have the headset to buy it if they're interested, especially with the price drop coming. More on that in a bit. Ooh, I'm going a mile a minute here. But back to the PC VR version, I was stoked because to me it was like it was going to be the PSVR version with all its phenomenal visuals on a headset that could actually display all those visuals. And it looks fantastic. The dust particles look like dust particles, not like whole pixels. Like it's just there's that fidelity is not the right word, but it's that clarity. The clarity on PSVR makes it easily the best version to play. And it got me thinking, um, because this is the like, best version to play, assuming this is going to come out on PSVR 2, and let's say you had the ability to play this on Quest 2, PSVR, or PCVR now, and you hadn't yet, do you buy it now? And I'm telling you, like the PCVR version is by far, if you can play it, it's the best version to play. It plays phenomenally. It looks beautiful. It's just I love Moss. I love Moss Book 1 and 2, and this is like up there for my game of the year this year. And playing the PC version again, I was just like, damn, like I kind of wished I'd played this version first and not PSVR first and not Quest first, even though obviously I wouldn't be able to talk about it. But it looks beautiful. It looks stunning in the headset.
It is one of those games where I would say the visuals are a very significant part of the experience. Not as much like, some games are all gameplay. Like Broken Edge is an example, like love it or hate it. It's got a visual style that's very simple. It's not a game you're playing to get blown away by visuals. It's like you're in it for the gameplay, like that little like that hook that they're trying to go for with it. Um, or you're not interested in it for the most
Mhm.
part. Whereas Moss is beautiful. It's a game that has like a lot of care put into its art style and its visuals, and so I can see, yeah, PC is just the best way to play it. And this is a problem that you and I have had, I guess, since we, being multi headset owners and having that luxury, uh, but unfortunately with PC being the ugly stepchild these days as far as getting things last because that's not where the money's at. So it's like Quest and then PSVR maybe and then PC many times.
Yeah.
And so this brings us kind of I think to our topic, and it's becoming a huge thing now is that February 23rd, we've got the date. We've got a lot of us have got our pre-orders. Just curious if anyone in chat has wanted to get a PSVR 2 and can't now. Because I know in Canada, it looks like the pre-orders are still available. So they're not selling out in Canada. I'm just curious to see what the experience has been for those of you. Um, and did you even mention, Ryan, have you even mentioned that you put some codes in there for Moss?
I didn't mention anything, man. I'm just dropping it in chat. I mean, these guys can read the chat. They can see it. It's a little gift to whoever sees it first.
Yeah, well, there you go. And those are PC codes.
Yeah, the RPC codes, guys. We got a few codes from Polyarc and their publishing team to give away to our to you guys. So I'm gonna drop another code in here in a bit as well from us. So for you Steam guys out there, this is your chance to play what might just be the one of the best VR games. Well, it is one of the best VR games of the year, but possibly the best VR game of the year. We're still working on our lists. So,
Wow.
but yeah, guys.
I
So
think we're gonna have to bet. We're gonna have some disagreements here. Now, this is the first time where Ryan and I are gonna have to. We're gonna have to come to some type of a consensus. I don't know if we're gonna do an episode around that like PSVR does. Maybe. Dun dun dun. I don't. I really do not want to get into what Parole does, where they've got this like rating system where they like
I don't have the time
where
for
they do
that.
where they but like Brian's got this thing set up where he just points. He like
Oh, I know.
everything gets points, and then
No,
it's
it's. I'm
uh,
not. I mean, it's amazing how he comes to that list conclusion. I'm not. But that man, it's like 5 hour marathon streams just to friggin'. I mean, whew, nope, not for me. We'll talk behind the scenes, Chris.
yeah, I mean, no, that's I mean, he basically is yeah, the way it's gonna go is I'm gonna tell Ryan what game I think is, best game of the year. He's gonna tell me what game he thinks is best of the year, and then it's gonna be his choice for best of the year. Um, Ryan's my VR wife. Gotta keep him happy. But anyway, the topic at hand, PSVR 2, it's becoming, I think, more significant than ever for a lot of people now. Do you wait? And I mean, I don't know if this is a scoop, But for those of you,
Hold on. Before you scoop this, and guys, this is some big news coming. I am going to all right, now where you can talk, Chris. I'm just dumbing this down, setting this up, trying to find the footage for the proper game because, guys, we've got some news for you guys that's gonna, man, man alive. It's nuts. Let's just bring up the
I
game
hadn't
here. I'm
seen
so close.
I hadn't seen this news out there, release date wise for this game we're going to talk about, and I actually had to double check with the PR team for that company because I wasn't even sure whether I was allowed to talk about this because I hadn't seen anything. So this
I
is going
got
to
it. I
this
got it. We can now
okay.
talk about it.
Thank you. This is going to feed
Sorry.
us into our topic: Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, uh, 2 Retribution. Is that the whole mouthful?
Sounds about right.
For those of you who are interested in the release dates outside of the Quest 2, which was announced for was it December 1st or was it December 2nd?
December 1st.
Hang on. I have got this information right
Our
in front
breaking
of me.
news and we're screwing up the dates.
Well, I want to make sure because I've got it right here.
Yeah, no,
So,
I
yes.
know. I've got
Quest
so much. Yep.
Quest 2 December 1st. And but that is the only thing that's been out in the wild is basically what the Quest 2, and that's really kind of been all I was like, okay, so but there's going to be other platforms. What's happening with them? I can tell you what's happening with them now. PCVR comes out February 20 of 2023. No date, just February. So at some point, that's PC. And for those of us who were hoping that PSVR 2 would get Walking Dead Saints and Sinners 2 as a launch title, I think we kind of all thought that was. Think again. It's not. March 21st. So basically a month almost to the day after the launch of the PSVR 2. Um, then you get Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Now, I had said to Ryan that I thought that I could see I had a pretty good understanding of why that was that way. Um, and that very likely could be just trying to steer clear of launch of the PSVR 2 and like the 20 games or whatever that we're going to launch. Um,
And now for the final headset this is releasing on Chris. When
yeah,
is it coming out for PSVR?
I don't know. 2023?
2023, right? That we know for
That's
sure. So
basically
it's not coming out this year.
that's all the developer was saying was 2023 physical digital at some point.
Yeah.
And so um that's kind of a big question mark of so it's not coming out this year and that's a big blow I think for some of those people who were hoping to play it on their PSVR like this fall with everyone else over on the Quest side of things. They're not even going to get it in February. Now Ryan and I have talked about are they going to do a day one like launch on PSVR and PSVR 2? I don't think they will. I understand what Ryan was saying is then they could kind of say, "Hey, you get a free upgrade if you buy this one. If you only got a PSVR or a PS4, you don't have a PS5, you don't have a PSVR 2." Um, I could see them kind of doing that, but they're not committing to a release date for the PSVR
Nope.
1, and they have a PSVR 2 release date of what did I say, March 21st?
No, yeah, PSVR 2 is March, or you said February, but it's actually March. It's March. Sorry, you're right. Sorry, I got so many dates in my head here. Yeah, so for PSVR 2, guys, is March 21st, 2023. Quest for y'all is December 1st, and PlayStation VR 1, 2023, sometime. We
They
don't know
say
what time.
they said that it'll be released as soon as they can make them available in 2023. So who knows what that is? I got the sense that they are wisely, I think, focusing like prioritizing the teams on versions, right? Um, like pretty soon we're going to be able to Ryan and I will have access to be able to play the Quest and the PC version. So those versions are um, my understanding is the Quest version is ready to go. PC versions got a little tweaks here and there, but it's pretty good to go. And so the PC version, they're kind of focusing the team on the PC, and then it sounds like the later versions are going to get after the PC version. It just, it's just interesting that the PSVR 1 is kind of like, yeah, well, meh,
Yeah,
we'll get
no,
to
for
it.
sure, for sure. It's surprising because, like I said, I kind of thought I'm thinking that this is the kind of last big game for PSVR, unless something really surprises us. This is to me, this is the swan song for the PSVR when it hits it, and I honestly did expect it this year.
I did too.
Um, so with it coming out, assuming it comes out before PSVR the PSVR 2 launch.
'Cause that's
So
always a possibility. They did say as soon as possible, but I gotta be honest with you, uh, I think the priority is going to be Quest, PC, PSVR 2, PSVR 1. And so, like, I don't know any more than that. All they're saying is they'll get to it as soon as they can, and there'll be a digital and a physical release. And so,
mhm,
to me, I don't know. It is what it is, guys. And so that really kind of brought us to this topic. I think it was we were already kind of talking about it, like especially for those who have access to a Quest headset. There's a lot of games that have come out, say, in the last 6 months, and then heading into this fall, where it's kind of like I want to play these, but do I want to play them like another example would be Aspire 2. So
mhm,
there's no announcements for this game to come to anywhere, any headset other than the Quest 2, Quest Pro. I'm gonna guess it's gonna show up on the PSVR 2 and likely PC. They're just not. They just don't want to make the same mistakes they made on the first game, where they tried to do a simultaneous launch of three headsets, and it didn't go very great. It was um, your kind of the what's the type of game you got, results varied depending on what headset you were on, and there were teams were mixed up working on different versions, and it was a shit show. So I think we're going to see that game end up on other platforms, but then it's like, okay, so one of the problems I had with Aspire 2, it's pretty muddy looking. It's pretty bad sometimes. Um, you can see the ambition in the visuals, but a lot of times the textures are just so blurry and so muddy. And when I say blurry, I don't mean the game itself is necessarily blurry, although it also doesn't look super high res sometimes, especially with character models. Uh,
mhm.
but it just looks it just looks muddy. Muddy's the word. It just looks bleh. And the lighting, there's not a lot of dynamic lighting. It's just a very drab looking game. And like I couldn't stop like thinking sometimes, especially when the game tried to push itself to open world environments, like with like skies. Um,
Mhm.
I showed a shot of it. GT highlighted it in his review. The helicopter, there's like kind of a mid boss fight, and it's brutal. Like it's brutal. Like the only thing that's missing is a kid holding the model going. um, and so um, I'm reading. I'm trying not to read chat, but I'm reading chat. And GT's kind of holding the fort down here, talking with people
I
that
like
have
it. I
questions.
like it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you didn't know that we've hired GT now as a as a community mod. He doesn't know that either, but appreciate it, GT. Anyways, what was I saying there? Playing Aspire 2, I kept thinking, man, I wish I was playing this on the PSVR 2, or wish I was playing the PC version of this, because it's a game that I can tell got neutered pretty hard.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
I
and
actually, funny enough, speaking of I'm going to ask you a question. I haven't played Bone Lab,
okay.
and even though I have downloaded it, I just didn't get to it. You've played both versions, right? The PC and the Quest version.
Yep.
And how did that?
The
I mean, I
Quest
kind of know
version
the
the
answer to
Quest
this, but
version
I'm
is
asking
the
you.
Quest version is very, very impressive for what it does, but, I mean, you start factoring mods and stuff like that, and the PC version trumps it by miles. I mean, just the performance and power of a PC, it's amazing. It's absolutely stunning that they crammed that game onto the Quest, and it works as well as it does. But, I mean, it just looks better on the PC. Not amazingly better, surprisingly, but there's still better lighting effects and just overall, textures and blah blah blah, look better. But you start factoring in some of those mods and some of the bigger stages and whatnot, and performance definitely takes a huge hit on the Quest, um, like for sure. So, I mean, what's the version to play? If you can, obviously, you want to play the PC version. That's a no brainer. And I'm telling you, the Quest version is amazing. And I'm saying if you can play the PC version, it's a no brainer. Whereas something like wins and leaves as a completely sideways example. Shout out to Trebuchet for the good game. Um, the PSVR version versus the PC version are actually fairly comparable. I mean, obviously the PC looks better, but the art style and everything else chosen, those are much more like it doesn't really matter, right? So this changes for some games. Not every game is the same by any stretch, but there's definitely arguments, especially when you factor in stuff like sales, whether you want to buy a game now today for your Quest or even PSVR, or whether you wait for PSVR or for PC, or whether you wait for PSVR 2. And it's an issue because we're starting to see prices come out for PSVR games. The best example I have for this would be the Star Wars Galaxy's Tales from Galaxy's Edge Enhanced Edition. That's $50 US, which is $15 more than the base game plus DLC on the Quest 2. And now, obviously, we don't know how good this game looks. We can see in the trailer footage; it does look pretty damn good. But if you factor in that $35 price tag on the Quest, $15 cheaper than PSVR, plus let's see you have the one of those 20% or 30% off codes that Oculus just throws out all the time or Meta. Well, now we're talking about a game that's like damn near half the price of a PSVR version. So, you know, if a brand new Quest owner Christmas time, he's thinking of PS, he already has a PS5, he's thinking of PSVR 2, brand new Quest owner is like, man, I want to get the Star Wars game. Should I buy it now or should I wait for PSVR 2? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, and that's the question is like, is it worth waiting for some of these games? Is it worth buying up now, especially if they're on a sale? Or, PSVR, obviously, that's, it's less of an argument, but like, Mossbook, going back to my Mossbook 2 example, Mossbook 2 might be, I have to go through my list of all 6 or 7 games that came out this year for the PSVR, but that is probably my favorite game for that headset. The best game you can play on maybe Wanderer, somewhere in there. Wanderer, Mossbook 2. Regardless, Mossbook 2, phenomenal game on PSVR. But man, I mean, I already know from playing PC, the PSVR 2 version is going to kill that version. It's going to kill it. So, and without knowing if things are cross buy or that cross buy as far as like PS4 to PS5 free upgrades, which then makes it PSVR. All that messy stuff we're still kind of dealing with.
Yeah.
It's like, what do I tell people who ask this question? Like I get questions like, which game should I buy, or what should I buy, or what should I wait? I'm just like,
Well,
I
and I
don't.
mean, and it is a game by game question. I
It
mean,
really is. It really
but
is.
it's a game by game question, and it's also, I guess, how much do you care about visuals? Personally, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, I'm like, just wait for PSVR 2 because you liked it more than I did. I just saw so many shortcuts on the Quest version. It was bothering me. I think that even just dynamic lighting um engine, like if they can increase, I think most of what you're probably seeing in the visuals is a lot of lighting. It felt
Yeah.
it, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge suffers from the same problems that I have with Espire 2, in that it's just feels very static and very baked in, and it just feels very generic because of that. It feels
Hmm.
very static. It doesn't feel very lived in. It I hate when people refer to VR games as looking like PSVR 2 games, but sometimes those Quest games really do look like PSVR 2's games. Um, yeah, I wasn't very thrilled with that game on the Quest. Like, I thought that Vader Immortal was a better Quest game
Oh, I
because it was
disagree on
a lot
that.
of but in the fact that visually, because of the
Oh,
interiors,
visually, yes, but I
it
mean,
didn't try to
you were
it
also
didn't
on the rails, basically.
no, 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 I'm not talking game-wise, I'm more just talking about, like,
Yeah, that's
visually.
what but I'm
The
saying visually,
constraints of
because you were so locked in on that small set path,
yes.
it did not have to render nearly as
I
much.
know, but this is why I'm saying is I would definitely wait for Tales from the Galaxy's Edge if someone was asking me, because I'd be like, yeah, that visual upgrade that you can see even in the trailers, man, it's worth it. Now, if someone's asking about Jurassic Park, or Jurassic World Aftermath,
Aftermath?
should I wait? I'd be like, yeah, you should wait and
Why?
wait and
Oh,
wait and wait and continue waiting and never purchase the game because
that's not the argument we're trying to
it's
have here,
not very
Chris.
good, but I'm just saying, but, like, that's a game that, like, that the art style, that super cartoony art style, I don't think it's gonna look much different. I really don't see it looking a lot different at
I think
all.
you
It was
get a more
sharp in the
steady frame, yeah, steady frame rate, that kind of thing, like more,
maybe a better frame rate, but it was not an unsteady frame rate game. That was a game made for the Quest. Like, visually within the constraints of a Quest, that game, they picked an art style that worked. Um, and the game was boring fuck. But, but like a game like Demio. Demio is a game that a lot of people are like, "Oh, yeah. Screw it, just get on Quest now, play with your friends." Um, it's a game that's gonna be they've already confirmed is cross-platform. So, you just pick your room code and you can play with your friend on a PSVR 2, and you can on your PC and Quest and have a room with each other, and you can jerk each other off. It'd be great. Lots of fun.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I would say personally though, I'd still say wait, because even though it's not this like huge visual like difference, man, it's pretty on Demio is pretty on the PC. All the additional lighting effects and just little things like like things like slime on the ground has like kind of like acidy steam coming up off them, and just the detail. You can zoom in on things and it's just detail for days. Whereas you zoom in on the Quest version, yeah, you can start to see the textures blur. It's not a completely different experience, but damn, it's a much nicer experience. And it's
Mhm.
like unless you're just dying for it, wait and enjoy that release date.
And like you said, and this is very much game specific. And I don't want to go through every single game coming out for PSVR 2 because I have a very extensive list here that I'm trying to cut through. But stuff that we know, like Cities VR. You never played Cities VR. I reviewed it and I said right away, like it's a very small scale Cities Skylines game in VR. Still has close to most of the all the like the base mechanics as far as city building goes, but on the Quest, it did not look pretty at all, and it ran barely adequately at times. And it
What
was
game
doing
are
a
we
lot of
talking about?
things.
I stopped listening to
City,
you, actually.
boo, Cities VR.
Oh,
That's
yes,
City
I did know
Skylines
that.
VR game. Um, and so that's been announced coming to PSVR. And honestly, the trailer didn't look substantially better than the Quest version, as far as from what I saw.
But that's not the
Um,
draw. Yeah.
but that being said, I mean, and I actually am kind of hoping it's they say enhanced edition. I'm kind of hoping like bigger islands. I would love to see something along that lines and not just a direct quest port, because I mean, once I it's kind of one of those things
I
where
think they
it
did confirm bigger.
did they.
They said bigger. Somewhere I read bigger because my wife is obsessed
Yeah, look
with
this
ci
up now.
I'm trying to City Skylines, that's the core game on PC. And one of the big things about City Skylines is the size that you can make. You can make an entire metropolis. And when I showed her that, and because I was going to have her review the game basically, since she was like the cities nerd and knew how all the systems worked, and was really excited about the VR version, even though she's not a VR person. And she found out how small the game was. It was like it's like a neighborhood in one of her map layouts. And so it's like, yeah, you're welcome, Dan Kitty. Um, and Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, that's a game, like you said. And now it's like I don't even. It doesn't for core people who love that series. It's not about the visuals. It's the controls are secondary as long as they're still working. It's still motion controls,
So yeah,
whatever.
it says here richer colors, additional. Oh, so it says sharper graphics, richer colors, and additional plots to bolster the game's interactive landscapes.
Additional plots. That sounds to me like
Plots of land.
yeah.
Yeah, so I guess they're just so they are extend. It sounds like they're expanding in their original maps, which is good because those maps in Cities VR were teeny tiny. So I guess that's the kind of stuff you have to pay attention for with these PSVR 2 ports. Is that a game like Cities, if you can build a bigger city, that's kind of the version you're going to have to recommend in a game like that, especially when the Quest version cities are noticeably small. Like you feel restricted. I was running out of space fairly quickly and was basically forced into like demolishing sections to build other sections to demolish other sections, and it's just that shouldn't
No,
be how a city building works.
no, and if you like when it comes to PSVR 2, and we do our inevitable review of it, I will get my wife to weigh in and kind of let people know how it's comparing to like the core game if they have any expectations around that, because I know that like she has massive sprawling cities. Like it gets to the point where it's like a city tied up to another city, and there's weather, and if I don't know how much of it is community like mods and stuff on PC, but there's weather like tornadoes and like things that were just not in that Quest game. That Quest game felt incredibly bare bones.
Hmm.
And it feels like they kind of tried to make up for it with some kind of like an economy system that I don't think the PC version had on it. And so that's just an example of a game where it's like, yeah, just wait. For the love of God, just wait. Um, I hate to say it, but like there's not a lot of games that I would say, oh yeah, just get that on the Quest.
No, I mean,
And
it's
don't
a
wait.
like honestly, like you said, Star Wars wait. Whereas I would actually say Star Wars don't because if it's the same core gameplay, I don't think making that game. I think it looks good. It looks good. I'm not saying it looks. It doesn't look console. It's not Jedi Fallen Order good, but I keep saying for the Quest, like it's like a Game Boy. It looks really good. It looks really good for the Quest. To me, it's one of the most visually impressive titles on the Quest. Um, just because of its use of the license, obviously, and the different environments. I mean, the AI is dumb as posts, but they all look like it looks like you're playing a Star Wars game from a few years ago, but it doesn't look bad. So for myself to sit there and be like, wait for the PSVR version when you can potentially get this current version with DLC for like half the cost, um, it's
Pri
tough for me to say wait.
price is a thing, and
It
we
will,
we
and
talked about that. Um, okay, we talked about this before. What is the cost of Tales from the Galaxy's Edge if you
I
wanna
just
buy that on the Quest and the DLC?
I told you that already,
I
man.
know, but I don't remember.
It's $35
All in.
all in, $35, and the PSVR 2 version is $50. These are American prices.
Okay, so it's like, what you say 35? So what
Yes.
essentially, are we getting $15 of visuals?
I mean, $15 of visuals is, I mean, that's a pretty big. I mean, personally, I don't think the visual upgrade is going to matter as much. And obviously, we haven't seen the game. That is I've seen the trailer. I don't always trust trailer footage. It did look like it was in game, and it did look substantially better. But for myself, I think the game, I guess, is shallow enough, um, that unless they've dramatically improved the AI and the encounters, I think as pretty as it is, it's still kind of a by the numbers, fairly basic shooter. So is it worth paying $50 for more pretty? I don't think it is. When if the game's the same, then it's a stock, not bad, but not great shooter.
Which is why I want the visuals. Like, I
I
want
just
it to look I think if they treat Star Wars with the way that we have seen most AAA Star Wars games, like, really get the visual love, it could be a real kinda, like, show off game. It could be a
no,
great game to
it'll
put your it's a Star Wars game at launch. I mean, I'd love to be able to put friends in that, and the other thing is like, I'm not the price is more on PSVR 2, I'm not buying it twice. And you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna buy it for the Quest, and you're gonna be like, "Yeah, man, this is pretty cool. Damn it, now it's really expensive because I gotta buy it a second time." I don't know.
possible. I mean, there's that possibility for sure.
Then there's the flip side, like, there's a bunch of these questions of, like, should I wait to buy, certain Quest games that are coming to PSVR 2 because it's like a Quest tidal wave of games that looks like that's gonna happen. Um,
Well, coming back to Saints and Sinners, I guess, right? I mean, do
well,
you want
this is the perfect example, this is where I was going with this, because then there's not a lot of them. I don't like, obviously, we don't expect a lot of PSVR 1 games, but when it comes to something like Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners, let's just for argument's sake say it was coming out December 1st with the
the
Quest version.
PSVR
Yeah,
the PSVR version?
yeah, which it's not for those of you who are late to joining chat. PSVR 1 is coming sometime in 2023. Sounds like most likely after after PSVR 2. Um, but I'm just saying, for just argument's sake, let's say it was coming out at the exact same time as the Quest. Um, knowing that now that we know that March 21st, 2023 is PSVR 2 release for Saints and Sinners 2, I would say wait. Now, if I have a choice between let's say if I only have a PSVR and I know I'm getting a PSVR 2, that's what I'm saying. Like, wait, wait, because I really don't need to play Saints and Sinners on the move.
I'm watching that trailer for Star Wars right now. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I know it does.
But
Um,
yeah, I think that for PSVR 1 users, it comes down to, I mean, honestly, if I mean, this is money out of pocket. This game is at $40, I think, US. Um if you know you're getting a PSVR 2, And they haven't confirmed if this is a free upgrade or not either. Like some games have been doing, after the fall. So it said if you own the PS4 version, they'll give you an automatic upgrade, a free
You're
upgrade to
talking
the
about for
PS5
Saints
version.
and Sinners, right?
And we don't
But
know,
because there's no release date, it may
right?
never even be an issue
No, but
for you know
but
what I mean?
hypothetically, like,
Yes.
even assuming it was coming out December 1st, if I knew it was going to have, if I knew it was going to have the free upgrade, then it's a lot easier to recommend PSVR players to get it. If it doesn't have the free upgrade, then and you're planning on getting a PSVR 2, it's hard for me. I mean, I know it's gonna be a good game, but it's hard for me to say, yeah, man, pull that trigger and spend $40 when the superior version is coming. And like you said, like I've been going back to the PlayStation VR just because my Quest is out of commission, so I've been kind of dabbling in some other things, and I cannot like I. It's funny as a guy who bought the headset and loved the headset and was like just waved that flag. Fuck, those moves are terrible, and it's just I can't excuse them anymore. Like I've gone back to my Rift right now, and the quality of the Rift controllers is like, man, this is so nice. Like, and then compared to the Quest controllers do feel kind of like a little more flimsy compared to like the Rift controllers.
Oh, yeah,
And
those
then I
are
go to the moves, I'm just like, wow, like what the fuck am I doing here? Fucking track. It's awful. It's awful now, and I know the PCR guys are out there like it's not that bad, Ryan. It's not that bad. It's not that bad, but knowing that they're all but dead, this little control scheme, and knowing, like I said, knowing that a lot of the guys in the chat are buying a PSVR 2, it's hard for me to say, yeah, man, like Saints and Sinners with the move controllers, like, not being able to turn around 360 when zombies are coming at you
that's a huge
and like
thing. That's a
and
huge
fighting
thing.
with tracking, it's like is that the version to buy? I can't. I have to say no.
Like,
And I cannot wait to play this game. On the
when you
Quest,
can
I'm stoked to play it.
when you can reach behind your back and reach behind your waist and spin around and attack something and never have to worry about tracking. Um, like, as soon as you start talking about things with, like, the move controllers and tracking benefits, like you and I were like Iron Man as an example, right? It's like
Yeah. It's a better
the
played game on Quest.
the visuals take a hit, kinda, but even that's like, it's kind of like better here, better there. But the gameplay on the Quest, it's just you don't worry about tracking. And that's just I can't wait for all Rob, you're still rocking that Rift S, Jesus Christ. Anyways, um, I would say that like for anybody out there who is a PSVR 1 guy only and you've just been waiting, I am so excited for you because I remember when I finally got a Quest, I was like, "Oh, this is what people were talking about with analog sticks." It's like, "Oh my god, it's so nice."
Yeah, and I've been PC gaming for longer than you've had
Yep.
Quest, and yeah, it always sucked going back and forth. But like I said, but I could excuse I was so used to playing with PlayStation, I got used to it. I got so used to just like rooting my feet in the ground, and I instinctually knew how to make sure I played the games without like messing with tracking. And now that I've gotten away from PlayStation because they've only had like a handful of releases, going back to it now, like my VR brain is like I can't just turn the way I want to anymore. I can't duck and pick something up off the ground anymore because like if my camera's not pointed there, for whatever reason, then it just vomits. So to go, going back to the Saints and Sinners on PSVR 1 was a great game. It was my game of the year, and we both said it was like it's one of the best uses of VR since it's in the last 6 years. And Saints and Sinners 2 should be the same as number one, if not better, on PlayStation VR. But 3 months from now, or I guess 4 months now, I guess the March date, you get to play the absolutely best looking version on a headset with no screen door effect, with eye tracking, and and with thumbsticks, and you can turn everywhere. Like it's just how do you, unless you're dying to play Saints and Sinners, like I haven't played it yet, but like how do you not tell PSVR owners like wait?
I'm laughing at hard to get here in chat. They were saying that they still play the Quest 2 the same the way they did their PSVR 1, and I'm the same way. I'm still so it's like I was beaten as a child.
Oh yeah,
Like
oh
I
yeah,
like I still face forward. It's very hard to break that. I found having a swivel chair has started to help because sometimes I just swivel now in
yeah.
the games.
No, it's
It
been recent for me too. I like same thing. I always play facing the camera, and I'm a thumbstick guy. Like I turn with thumbsticks. I've had people in my reviews like, dude, you're using thumbsticks. That's not even like real. That's just like gaming garbage, but like this is what PSVR trained me to do. And so yeah, now that I have the
And
swivel chair,
you're lazy like me. Like I still play
I
seated half
am a
the time.
little lazy. Yeah.
I don't care about the cord. We'll have another. We already had an episode about that, but I think it's time to have another one about that. Um, but yeah, it's like seriously, it's like my trauma response to like just like having to sit forward. Don't move. You will lose the tracking. I mean, even Iron Man. I was like started to move. I'm like, oh no, 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 no. You're gonna get the gate of death.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, so I have I have the list of all the games here, but I have a list of the games the prices for, right? So Cities VR, $30 US, which I believe is on par with the Quest version. Cosmonia's high is $30 US, which I never played the Quest version. I don't imagine that game looking too much better on the PSVR.
no, I can't imagine anything.
Um
But like, I mean, Alchemy games, like they've always been pricey.
they have, and their prices don't really ever drop either, not too much. I mean, I remember it was forever before Job Simulator went on sale for the first time. And it's still like the number one selling game on PSVR, but that could be like 10 copies at this point. We don't even know. Demio $40, which I believe is more expensive than the PC version by
We talked
$5, I
about that.
think.
$5 is I think what we worked out. Except that
Um,
the except it came with a flat version. Oh, but so does the
this one comes with both
PSVR
versions. Yeah,
too.
yeah. Hello Neighbor, $30 US, which is it's also telling here that all the games here really are minus one game, which is Tentacular, are $30 and up. Every single one we know so far is $30 and up, which I think is
Well,
telling.
Tentacular is definitely an $80 game. I don't have a problem spending that.
Tentacular it fits in the launch. It's a fun little physics thing, but I
Whoa,
mean, once again, it's not that people I guess are asking the question about Tentacular. Like, what do I buy right now? Do I wait for PSVR two?
yeah,
The answer is
Ryan, I'm
no.
really torn between Rush of Blood and Tentacular.
Look, I know, but I mean that's gonna make some kids happy. So shut up.
I refuse to call it Switchback VR. What a stupid ass name.
But you have to. And
No,
then
I don't.
the Light Brigade, which the Light Brigade you actually do if you it's coming out to PS4, which I guess means PSVR as well. And with that game, apparently you get a free upgrade to the PS5 version. But without the game being out, that's like a kind of an empty statement right now. And there's other games too. Alvo, Alvo. I guess Alvo's another one too. Like, Alvo has it's cross-platforming with Quest, PC, PSVR, and what's the other one? The European headset. Come on, Ryan.
Eco.
Pico, thank you. It's cross-platform amongst all those. So I have to assume amongst all those four headsets across the entire world, there has to be a decent little fan base. And Albo has said they're coming to PS5, and they said there might be a small charge. If you buy it for PS4, they said there might be like a $5 charge to upgrade to the PS5 version, which is also could happen for a lot of other games as well.
I
It
don't have
makes
a
sense.
I don't have a problem with that. If it's a smaller studio, especially, they just don't have the resources. It's time spent, man. It's time spent.
So
Especially if
then,
their especially if their game wasn't super expensive to start with.
and now it's on. I guess I think it's $15 now, which comes to my second point. As more and more of these games come out of the woodwork saying that there'll be a PS5 a free PS5 upgrade or like a $5 PS5 upgrade. Now you gotta start paying attention to PS4 sales because there might be a pretty decent sale on the PS4 version of a game coming to PS5, and we've seen that disparity
No Man's
before.
Sky, that's a big one that comes to mind.
Yeah, and Hitman 3 as well was in Resident Evil 8 they were $10 more expensive on PS5 than PS4, but PS4 users got a free upgrade to PS5. So everyone was like, well then buy the PS4 version and get the PS5 version for free. Like, why would I pay
Yeah,
$10 more to not,
and a
and
little while back, Resident Evil Village got a decent sale too. So it's
like,
things like that that you wanna
yeah.
pay attention to, right? I mean, although I guess there's always that fear that this is gonna be a VR version that's not a
Oh
free
no, no,
upgrade.
but Resident Evil 8 they've already confirmed it's not.
I know, I'm just saying in general,
Oh,
some games there could be a little concerned around, jumping too early on a certain game. But yeah, sales are a big thing to look at for that regard. But then there's like but staying on topic, but taking a kind
oh,
of a
I
step.
was on topic.
I'm just saying I'm not getting off topic, idiot. But I was gonna say that there's also the idea of like waiting to play certain games that are available now flat, like Resident Evil Village. For some people, like No Man's Sky, like say they were just like, I am not playing this PSVR version of it. It's too blurry. It's too neutered. Gran Turismo 7, which I know,
It's not coming. I mean, they
screw
they had
you, Sony, it's coming.
you saw the leaked image, right? They
No,
showed the I think it was on I think I saw it on AJ's channel, PSVR Underground. Someone dropped an image or it was pulled from somewhere. It was basically the showroom again, but in the bottom of the showroom it said like VR mode, and like you said, it was like a toggleable switch, which is
okay,
what it was in GT Sport anyways. But I mean, it just points to the fact that VR mode's in there. That being said, what if VR mode is just the same thing? It's just like the
no,
showroom and like one. I know it won't be, but
it won't be.
anyways, just more evidence that shows that GT7 will have VR. Hopefully,
The
the
re
whole
the
game.
and I'll repeat what I said episodes ago. The main creative director of Gran Turismo 7 has probably, of all the main, like, studios out there, he's probably been the most vocal about his love of VR. Like, they asked him outright, "When it came to PS5, like, what does that mean to you? Like, what are the things that excite you about having that extra power for the next Gran Turismo?" Because, like, GT Sport and GT7, they don't look miles apart game wise, which is also, and then my buddy has GT7 on this PS4 Pro, and it's like, yeah, like, you can see the differences, but it's not night and day. And so that just lends credibility to the fact that I think the PS5 should be able to handle it in VR. Anyways, I digress. The creative director, amongst a few things that he mentioned, like better physics and, shinier lighting, he said outright VR. And he has right said, like, that is to him, like, how racing games should be played moving forward now, like the
Mm.
immersion factor. He's been very upfront about that. So, you know, the only reason Gran Turismo Sport was not fully VR was because they just didn't realize, like, how much of a beast that was going to be to make that game work, and they weren't willing to sacrifice or compromise, I guess, visuals to make it work across the whole game. So,
Well, and the
God,
Pro versus PS4 argument, right? Because I mean, like I said, we saw footage of GT Sport that had full races, and that was PS4 Pro, and they couldn't get it. They couldn't shrink the game any more to get on PS4, and so they had to scrap it. They had to dumb it down,
yeah.
which is
So
awful.
see, I'm the worst person. I'm gonna answer my own question here. Um,
It's
I
the Shug Show.
I could not
Go.
wait. I play ga I play flat games as well as VR games. I'm not like Ryan, and I couldn't wait. Like, I've played Forbidden West, even though obviously we're not getting Forbidden West Horizon Forbidden West, but I'm like, screw it, I gotta play it. I beat Res 8 Village twice. Once on medium, once on hard. I love that game. And I played the shit out of GT7. Do I wish I could delete those memories from my mind to go play them in VR? Absolutely. And for those of you who are not a weak individual like I am and have just waited, I wish I could be you, because it would be amazing to play those games. Like Resident Evil 8, I freaking loved. And I can tell from just I'll tell some of you in chat that I'm reading here. Resident Evil 8 is not the horror game that Resident Evil 7 was. It's much more like a sequel to Resident Evil. And so if you're gauging your interest in it, base it off of that. It's actually split into kind of three different, like, kind of sections, and there's only one section that focuses on horror. Now, if you're a little bitch and you're like, man, werewolves are scary to me, then maybe you're gonna find Resident Evil 8 scary, but it's much more a shooter. It's not as heavy on puzzles, it's not as heavy on the jump scares and the creep scares. Um, it's just it's got that pacing and the balance that Resident Evil 4 had, and it's num 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 num. It's gonna be so good. I can't wait. I'm gonna play it again. I don't care. I'm gonna play it on hardcore mode and just have a blast with it. And GT7, it's like, yeah, it's gonna be. I'm gonna just delete it and play through the campaign again in VR, because it's gonna be like playing it all over again. But I couldn't wait, and that is a question. It's like, can you wait?
I mean, that's kind of ultimately what it comes down to, right? Is like, can you wait as a PSVR one only user or player user, whatever? Can you wait until March to play the PSVR 2 version? There's a chance too, like they said, there's so many variables. Like, well, it doesn't come out though. It's like it's a messy launch. But
Ugh.
it comes down to like, can you wait? Like, it's even if you're a Quest guy who's gonna get a PSVR 2, do you play the Quest version in December, or do you wait for the what's gonna be the PC experience on your PSVR. Like, and you know it's gonna play better. You know it's gonna look way better. Like it's gonna, the trailer we keep seeing for that thing, that's not Quest footage, ladies and gentlemen. That's PC, even PSVR footage, that can be comparable. Like I said, factor in, the advantages of the eye tracking and everything else. And who knows? So it's, yeah, can you wait? And man, I mean, Saints and Stairs is a tough one. Like I said, that was my game of the year. What, 3 years ago? 2 years ago? Only 2 years. I don't remember. But like that's a sequel to that. It'd be fucking awesome. I'm gonna wait on that.
I
I
mean, let
don't
me tell
know.
you a
Like,
story. When I was a little kid,
let me tell you a story.
let me tell you story time. Everybody gather around now. When I was a little kid, uh, my grandparents both lived across the country, and they would send big packages, big parcels filled with presents for Christmas, and they were almost all for me because I was his only child. And yeah, I know it's probably not surprising to many. And and all these gifts would just be sitting in our spare bedroom waiting to go under the Christmas tree. And it was just unbearable. In one year, I was like, I'm just gonna look at one. I just gonna I just kind of like popped the tape on it, tore it open. I was like, oh my god, that's what it is. Put it back. And then I would just be like, one more, just one more gift. So I looked at that one more gift. By the time Christmas rolled around, I had looked at every single gift there was in that room and had tried to put it back together. My mom went to put presents under the tree, and just about every gift was, like, falling out of the wrapping paper because it didn't really tape back up, and it was horrible. It was a totally terrible Christmas day because I knew what everything was. My mom's like, "Well, why don't you wanna open what are you still got another present under the tree?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't want that one." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't need a sweater from grandma. You could just you can just donate that.
You're a
Someone else
spoiled
can
brat,
open it."
Chris. You're a spoiled brat.
But I'm telling you this because this is the friend that you have, Ryan. This is the type of person I am. I can't wait. And I would like to tell you that I would wait to play Saints and Sinners 2 on the PSVR 2 or the PC instead of the Quest. I really wish I could wait. I think I could wait. I think I could wait for the PSVR 2 because it I would love to
If
have
we didn't do all this, like if we
I would
didn't do
love
this,
I'm just
like,
saying I think I could wait because I'd love to have that experience of just, like, the new toy, but it's not even a launch game.
yeah, and that's weird. When that doesn't matter as much, I guess. I mean, really, at launch, there'll be so many games to play. Like the last thing you want to do is like have, like I said, it's nice. It's kind of nice that it is a month out. Um, I think I could also wait. If I don't, if I, I have the, I guess I have the option. I have the option to play Quest. On December 1st. Now, because we run the channel, I'll be playing the Quest version. But if I didn't do this shit, and I knew I was getting a PSVR 2, like my game buying would be, I'd be dry right now. I would be drying about buying anything, especially when you factor in the fact, you'd be buying all that shit again in, February, March. If it's not cross by, it's obviously won't be cross by with Quest. Then yeah, I'd have to say wait, man. If for that one, I'd have to say wait, just because I know the experience is gonna be so much better, and I know it. There's no way. I mean, it's gonna look so pretty. There's probably more zombies than on the Quest version. I mean, I don't know this for sure, but
I
you
do,
know,
but I can't talk about it.
okay, well then shut up, Chris. But anyways, my point being is that it's gonna be the better version, and it's only 3 months out. So yeah, I'd wait, man. I would wait on that one, 100%. Now that I'm thinking about it, but stay tuned to this channel for the review for the Quest version.
Well, I mean, so I shit, I don't know if I can talk about that. Sorry,
Look,
guys. So I sat I guys, I mean, I sat in on kind of a little bit of a it was a kind of a behind the scenes, walkthrough of Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners 2: Retribution, with Skydance, and so I know some things, but it's embargoed, and so we can't really talk about those things. At least I don't think I can talk about it. I asked special permission for the release dates to see if that was okay, and they said yes, that was not embargoed, which I was surprised at because as far as I know, besides the Quest release date, there's been no release date talk about the PC version or the PSVR
nope.
2 version. So again, if you guys are new to chat, PC version of Saints and Sinners 2 is coming out at the end of February, February 23rd, I
March.
believe.
Nope. March.
No, February for PC.
It comes with the same month as.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was
I
March.
feel like we need to go through this for Ryan now.
Well, maybe I guess I don't know. So,
PCVR February 2023, no date, just February.
oh, okay,
PC
my bad.
PSVR 2 March 21st,
Oh, right,
2020.
right, 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 right. Sorry, yeah, I was mixing that up. Sorry, I thought we were talking PSVR two.
Yeah.
My bad.
So
So
PC's gonna
PCVR drops the same time during the PS2 like ish launch, and the PS2 PSVR two version launches a month after the PSVR two drops.
yeah. Now,
There we go.
what I can say, I think, without embargo is that for review purposes, Ryan and I will have played the Quest 2 version and the PC version. The PC version is playable for our review purposes. So you will see. I guess I can probably say that on the 21st. There's going to be an embargo lifting, and you'll see footage. We're going to be, and I'll be showing off a bunch of PC footage here on the channel. We'll be covering that as a preview, and then just to kind of give you a real blast of what it's probably going to look like on PSVR 2 as well in its best form. And then the review will obviously be focusing heavily on the Quest 2 because that's all you're going to be able to play on review. And of course, Ryan and I will do a comprehensive review of the PSVR 2 version when that launches, of course. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like Natty said there, I do. There's the one thing about Saints and Sinners 2 that I do really wish that they'd had was co-op, and I think we all know the reason why co-op is still not in there, and that's because we've got this freaking headset that's pretty much a phone processor, and it's doing amazing things for VR, but you're not going to get co-op. The fact that they're even pulling off that game as good as it looks on the Quest is insane.
Yep. And
Um,
all that and all the physicality too, right? I mean, like physics are no joke, and we're seeing the Quest do some pretty amazing things with physics. You know, Bone Lab is the best example of that in regards to just how what it can do. Like I didn't think a game like Bone Lab was even like remotely possible for the Quest, and now all of a sudden we're talking about full on sandbox, full physics engines that are working phenomenally. It's just like
Full physics Asians?
engines,
Oh,
as
well,
in Indians,
I
engines.
was gonna say that doesn't sound less racist. Engines.
I'm saying it the right way. You're choosing to point out my disability.
My disability. You stop making fun of my disability.
But yeah, I mean, just to kind of, I mean, I'll wind this down a bit here, but yeah, definitely comes down to game specific and obviously budget as well. And all the factors we mentioned, sale prices, and whether there'll be free PS5 upgrades, and I said sales and deals, and if you can get physical and they have free upgrades. There's so many different factors to like buying some of these things right now. It's actually kind of it's messy and ugly. Like you have to like really, if you like, pick a game you want and just really pay attention to like all the stores to see when it's on sale. Because I mean, if Walking Dead Saints 2, PSVR one, $10. Well, okay, well maybe you should buy that $10 version. That's not going to happen, obviously. But my point still stands that depending on what you're playing, if it's not going to be a substantial upgrade like Tentacular, and Tentacular is on sale for like $15 on the Quest, and you want to play Tentacular, maybe get it on the Quest. Like I said, Cosmonia is high though. I mean, Cosmonia is high. Alchemy Labs, like they make gems. People love them.
I just got in trouble for my mental disability joke from Jason. I didn't know he was hiding in the chat there. God damn it.
Ha 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 ha. You get him, Jason. You get him.
You know,
Uh,
I feel like with Jason, it's like the whole like I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed.
disappointed. I mean, that's me every day with you, but here we are. um, but yeah, I mean, I can circle these same ideas over and over and over again. It does come down to how much you want to play. I mean, feel free. I mean, I'll happily answer any question, put some thought into it as far as like, do I wait, do I buy? But really, like I said, especially in the coming weeks and months ahead of PSVR 2's drop, I imagine we're going to see a lot of news coming out in regards to games getting free upgrades and games getting just $5 patches and that kind of thing. And so, Alvo, as an example, Alvo on PS5 is $25, but Alvo for PS4 is on sale for $10 and it has a free upgrade. So it's like paying attention to that kind of messy stuff, I guess, to save the most money. But I don't know, I'm not sure how I'm going to handle this really. Now, it feels like there's like so many things to talk about in regards to this conversation that it's kind of hard. You can't really. There's no answer.
Well, like I
There's,
said to you, this is how we started this conversation. I said I think it really has to be it is a game by game basis. Um mainly it's a game by game basis. It can also be a person by person basis. Like I said, Demio. Demio is a perfect example. It's like, okay, so the game pretty much plays exactly the same. The controls are exactly the same. For
Yep.
all intents and purposes, the trackings are the same. It is the same exact experience. Um,
Does
but
Demio have hand tracking on Quest? Was that something in their works?
the Pro. The Pro you
Just the
can play
Pro?
on a tabletop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Through that
I
mixed
think
reality
actually the
thing.
Quest, I feel like either you can or people were trying it in experimental mode on the Quest. It was just black and white. But regardless, I think yes, hand tracking is either it's a thing or it's coming. It's something that's being worked on for Demio. Shout out, Demio's got a new map and a new character, the Barbarian, coming soon. I saw that update there. Fun fact. Um, and
It was just announced like 3 weeks ago that hand tracking is coming to Demio. But that's just another factor. Right? Like for a game like Demio, like does hand tracking appeal to you? Because PSVR, our understanding right now is there's no plans whatsoever for hand tracking on PSVR. I think they should have shut that down. That nope, that's not in the cards. So if that kind
I
of
think
thing
hand
does interest
tracking is
you,
overrated. I'm sorry. I just
I
don't.
agree. I
Like,
totally
there's
agree.
very few things actually, funny enough, Dino is probably one of the only games I've ever thought of that would be cool with hand dragging because
Yeah,
just moving that or although it'd be really hard to shake the dices without looking kinda dirty, but, I'm just saying that
you look the
game
same anyways, though,
that
even
true.
with the controller.
No, with the controller, you just pick it up and toss it,
Oh, that's right. That's right. They just float there. That is right.
and I don't think you just can't shake real dices without doing this. Um,
Dices, dices,
dices die.
die.
Um I would say so. I feel like it's a game by game basis. It's a person by person basis, and it's a person by person basis also because it's a financial thing too. It's like I have a problem, and when the PSVR one launched, I was like, okay, I only got so much money. I'm already buying the headset. I'm gonna get divorced because of that. So be it. I'm like, okay, so but I gotta have Rush of Blood. I gotta have Drive Club. I've gotta have Eve Valkyrie. And I'm like, and I gotta have Riggs too because Riggs is kind of like the big guy. By the end of the launch week, I had bought everything. Excuse me, including Brookhaven. I had bought Battlezone. I think the only game I didn't buy at launch was Here They Lie.
And you also didn't buy Loading Human because
That's true.
the word got out. That's on sale for 99 cents right now. I heard,
Not
and
worth
it's still not worth it.
it. But I'm just saying I have a problem. I bought everything, and I know someone else in chat has that same problem. His name's Rob. Rob has that same problem that I do. Not only will Rob end up buying every launch game, he's gonna end up buying every launch game for other people as well. And because he's generous like that, and he has the same spending problem that I do. And so, I'm gonna buy every launch title, at least every launch title that we don't get to review. I hope we get some games to review because it's gonna be very expensive otherwise. Speaking of which,
Sorry, I got caught in chat now.
you got your pre-order, didn't you?
I got my pre-order. I got 2 pre-orders because I am so paranoid about something falling through and like no one delivering. I had that happen with the aim controller actually, where I did pre-order it twice, and one of my pre-orders did fall through, and I got it days later. So I was so thankful I did it, and I'm not planning on reselling. I'm not planning to be like, haha, I got one now, and scamming. Not to say I'm not planning on it. I'm not saying I won't do it. I'm just
Oh, I
not
totally
planning
am.
on it. But I'm
I'm gonna
hedging my
shower
bets. If Walmart's supplies come in late, or Best Buy's runs out of stock or something, at least I have a backup plan.
because
I
what have
just
you got? You got Walmart and Amazon, or
No, I
Walmart
got Walmart and Best
Best
Buy.
Buy.
Yeah.
I've got Best Buy.
Oh
Uh,
no, I have Amazon. I have Amazon and Best Buy.
Best Buy.
Sorry.
Exactly. So I have Amazon and Best Buy and EB Games.
And fingers are crossed that Amazon will ship it
Games.
like a day early, right?
I
That's
don't know.
always
I have a I'm not buying all 3. I gotta make a decision. And I don't know when the cutoff's gonna be. It's like one ships and then I madly run to my computer.
everything. You just take it back. Like
I
just
I guess.
you're getting a brand new box. Like just go back to Walmart and take it back. I know Walmart can take the hit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's my plan. If I get them both the same day, then I'll just take it back. Or if our channel hits like 100,000 subs by then, we'll give it away.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. Tell your friends, tell your lovers.
Yeah.
100,000 subs, someone's getting the free PSVR 2. Hell, I'll get a free PS5 at that point.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, hey, I don't mind ratting out Ryan. So I said to Ryan, "Why don't we give away a headset?" And Ryan's like, "I don't know, man. That's like
Dude,
800 bucks
it's a
Canadian."
yeah, man. That's no joke. That's we don't make a lot off this channel.
So I'm just
So that's
make sure fire off in the super chat
dude, shut up,
if you
man.
want a
Shut
chance to
up.
earn a free headset.
I gotta feed my family here, okay?
And
That I took that money out of Kaylin's college fund, my
I was
daughter's
like,
college fund.
she's your
No, I did not.
child. She's not
I
going
did
to
not.
college.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Your wife doesn't watch this show. We're good. Anyways,
No,
what
God.
what what I was gonna say was, I said to Ryan, like, think about all the people that we could like put joy in, and like
Oh,
giving
this is not what he said. This
giving
is
them a
not what he
chance,
said.
giving them a chance. It's like the Salvation Army that we could give the joy of VR to someone. And Ryan was like, "Fuck them, I ain't." I'm like, "Dude, we could split the cost." He was like, "I don't give a shit. I gotta buy drugs."
Yeah, that's where my head was at.
I feel like the podcast
I would
always starts
love
to go off the rails at the end.
I would love to give a PSVR 2 away to somebody. I would friggin' love to do that, but that's some coin, man. That ain't nothing. That ain't nothing.
I know it's like it's not cheap here in Canada, but we'll see. I might still put
Maybe
I might
maybe we'll give it a controller charger instead, a little charging station. I'll just dumb
the
that down
VR
a little
grid
bit.
is giving away a charger.
Pay attention, boys and girls.
Oh
You know
man,
what?
that would be such a slap in the face. Anyways, so we'll see what
Not to
happens.
the person who won it. I mean, he'd still like the charger. I mean, the chargers are already sold out. You couldn't
Ooh,
reserve those.
see, hard to get there. He's buying a PS5 and a PSVR 2 at the same
Yeah,
time. That's
man. Like
1,300.
that's no joke.
Well, you know what I gotta say is hard to get. I'm probably gonna be in the same situation because even though my wife doesn't know this yet, I pretty much gotta buy another PS5 because we have one up in the living room, which is where it sits, and it's where we game, but we also use it as a 4K player. Like I still collect movies and watch them, and I can't like take that down into my what I call, I guess, the VR gaming studio down here, right? I can't steal it. I mean, it gets used all the time, I'm not going upstairs and constantly with my Elgato and a laptop like I used to do back in the day and record. Oh, Rob, dude, that was
Hey,
not an
Rob.
invite. Yeah, doing stuff for internet on I don't know what kind of stuff you're talking about on the internet, but oh,
Join us on OnlyFans.
more codes.
Saturdays.
Look at you, Rob.
One more code. One
See?
more code. Why not?
Look at that.
So yeah,
Um, but anyways, yeah, pre-orders.
bring this conversation back. I mean, not really. I'm just gonna say, if you have a PC right now, I mean, I'm giving away Mossbook 2 codes away. Don't wait for PSVR. The PC version looks fucking amazing. It looks so good. The best version to play out of the three currently available by far.
Well, I guess we're coming to the end here, and
We are.
one of the questions that jumps out at me that somebody asked. He asked what, and we kind of answered it in a roundabout, kind of like cocky way, but I said he asked what games we're buying at launch, and I mean, I almost feel like
All
that's
of them
well, that's what I'd said, right?
minus. I'm not looking. All of them minus a few that I've played. I reviewed Tentacular. I'm not expecting any difference from that game in the Quest version. I'm not playing the PSVR version of Tentacular. It just doesn't make sense. I mean,
Here's
I'm
the
not.
here's the thing. I feel like it's too soon for to really truthfully answer
No,
that question because
no, I'm not playing it.
I don't feel like I'm not talking about that.
You're playing it.
You don't have to. I will. Um,
It's all right. It's all right.
I'm just saying is that I would imagine that easily the launch lineup's going to double. I mean, we've heard 20 titles. If you base it off of that, we don't know 20 titles. I don't think.
No, we're getting close though.
Not our launch.
I mean, my priority, honestly, for these things is obviously the AAA stuff, the stuff that's exclusive to PSVR 2. That's at the top of the list, right?
Like
It
if
just
I was,
has
I
to be.
mean, straight up, if I was just average Joe, and like not that I'm not average
No,
Joe. I don't
Star
know
Wars
why I just
Jurassic
said
Park
that.
then. Star
Yeah,
Wars
so
Jurassic Park.
Aftermath. I've got 3 copies of Aftermath. Um, and it's not Jurassic Park. Jurassic World. Jesus, stay up to date. Come
Cares?
on, kick
Jurassic Park
back.
6. Shut up.
But anyways, I would, I would, yeah, like you said, it's gonna be. the marquee titles. I mean, on like if I was, if it was like PS1 launch all over again, and I'm just like, "Bah, I'm so excited about this," I'd be buying No Man's Sky. I would be buying Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. I would. I know I would. It's just to
Here,
show. As a
Chris, let's
showcase.
play a game before we get to that. I have a list of what official launches and question mark launches, which I pretty much confirmed some of them anyways. Regardless, so Horizon Call of the Mountain must buy. Are you buying that at
Yeah,
like launch? Right, me too. Ultra
and
Wings 2.
I bought the pre-pack in anyways, right?
Yeah, so me too. I also bought the pack in. Ultra Wings 2.
If I didn't already have it, I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm on the bubble with that one, honestly.
Right. All right. No Man's Sky. I mean, that's a free upgrade for us, so it doesn't really count.
Which one?
Um,
What?
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, definitely though. I'd buy
It's
it.
a free upgrade
But
anyways.
I'd buy
So
it if I didn't own it.
Engram. Don't worry about Engram. There's no trailer out yet. Galaxy's Edge must buy. I said I'm holding on until I see more myself, and I love Star Wars. I played
Chances
the
are, but I'm pretty sure I'd end up buying it. I don't think I could not buy it. I just would.
Probably me too. I mean, I'm trying to just be a naysayer.
Yeah, you're
But
full of
I'm
shit.
probably
You'd
buying it too.
probably buy it.
I'm probably gonna buy it. I'm a Star Wars whore.
Salvador, you're awesome, man.
Demio. Demio, once again, I'm kind of in the same boat. It's a must buy if we didn't.
It's a tough one. If I didn't own it, I'd be
Yeah.
like, well, I'd probably be like, well, really, what's the fuss? But I've played
And
it.
because it's cross play, you're not getting much from buying up the PSVR version if you already own it.
But if you're a PSVR, if you guys are PSVR one only, and you've never played Demio, buy Demio.
Oh, for sure,
Demio's
100%.
freaking great.
Demio it's a love letter to my childhood, man. It's awesome. Zenith, The Last City, free. It's a free PS5 upgrade. It's one of those ones again where it's a free upgrade.
No, not a definite for me.
I didn't buy it on PS4, so my drive to play it on PS5 is minimal.
It depends
Saints
how
and,
social you are.
I guess Saints and Sinners we know is no longer a launch. So I can
No.
get that off my list.
But Saints and Sinners is one of those games where I might, if depending on my financial situation, I would be not buying certain games. Just now knowing, like it's like I'm not like if I had only so much funds to go around for VR, we're talking a month later. You know what I mean? Like I'd be
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah.
In fact, right? Like yeah, big time,
Village, Resident Evil.
absolute day one.
I agree. Cities VR.
No,
I agree,
I'd
but
have
I
to know
also
more. I need to know more.
yeah, like how big the maps are is a big one, I think for sure. And it's not my jam, and I didn't really care for
Yeah,
the
it's
Quest version at
and
the
it doesn't
time,
look
so
very next gen. Like it's
it
gonna have.
doesn't. Switchback. I mean, that's an automatic yes for anybody. I think. Sorry, Switchback, the shooter there. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, you mean Rush Blood 2?
No, it's called Switchback. The Dark Pictures Switchback.
I'm ignoring that, but absolutely day one buy. It's going to be the title that I put the most people into.
Probably. Unless they do something really
Easily.
funky. Well, I agree. I don't know unless they fuck it up. But
Like, oh, here, hey, bud, I'm going to put you into Resident Evil 8. And if by some chance you manage to figure out the controls quick enough to not just die and just like not know what you're doing and shit your pants, no, I'm just going to put them in Rush of Blood.
all right, moving on. Light Brigade.
Yeah, day one. I think it looks great.
It's coming out on Quest first, and it's coming out for PS4 first as well.
And it looks
PSVR.
it looks questy.
It looks
But it
questy.
looks like my jam. So
Yeah,
I think
we'll see.
I'm
I'm on the fence.
I know it's one of those games. It's the Brookhaven in the fact that I might not buy it like immediately, but once I've bought all these games and I'm just looking at the store going, what else can I buy?
I get it. Cosmonia's High.
Absolutely not.
I'm not absolutely not, but I have no desire to. So I
Nope.
mean,
Nope.
it's Hello Neighbor.
They're putting pronouns above kids' heads. It's just
Hello Neighbor.
Nope.
Wow,
No, I
you
don't
can't
care
be like
about
that.
Yeah, I
Neither do
can.
I. But apparently, it's a franchise. I didn't know it was like a franchise, and apparently, it's got like a pretty
Hello
decent
Neighbor?
reputation. Yeah, it's new to me.
Based on what I know right now, which is nothing, no, I don't want.
All right, Aftermath.
Nope.
I mean, I'm actually kind of tempted because I never played it, but it's not at the top of my list by any stretch.
You're gonna review that one.
Challenge accepted. Tentacular. That's like I've already played it. It's for me no, just because I've already played it. It's a good game. There's not a replay factor for me. And then Samurai Slaughterhouse I have on my list. He's been kind of quiet about the launch. He's still hoping for a launch, but game looks cool as hell. The updates. If you follow Justin Tab Games on Twitter, he releases footage all the time. That game is coming along nicely. And then the last, sorry, Samurai Slaughterhouse. If it's a launch title, would you do it?
Maybe.
I totally would, man. It's a gory swordplay game, and I've played it. I played a really early build of that, and it
It looks
works. It
cool.
works.
It looks very cool.
And then Swordsman VR. They converted that as a launch title. I don't know if it's an upgrade or not. But I'd have to see what they're doing for it to be a PSVR 2 purchase.
It doesn't excite me.
Yeah, I think they'd have to do more than what's like a texture bump doesn't do enough for me. In regards to that, I don't care if there's like extra dynamic shadows. I mean, that being said, Swordsman once again is a solid, solid game. Just
Yeah,
not.
it's one of those games.
It's come along. They've done
I
a lot
still feel like
since.
it's a poor man's Blade and Sorcery.
Yes and no.
The last time I played it, I still felt that way. It's
Eh.
definitely come a long way, but
Blade and Sorcery is a poor man's something else too. Blade and Sorcery doesn't excite me either. Crossfire, which doesn't have a launch date, I guess. This is the last one. Crossfire, I think, is a must buy for me as well. The
Crossfire.
mil- the military one,
Oh
that
yeah,
one they
yeah,
showed.
that
There
looks
you
sick.
go. Right,
That looks fun. You didn't
right.
talk about Firewall.
I don't have it because it hasn't been listed as a launch game yet, but it's right here at close to the top. Fine, Firewall.
Yes,
Me too. I'm pumped to see that game like be done right.
that's what I said. I feel like I feel like it's going to be its final form. You
Firewall, the We Listen to You edition.
know?
It is, man. I mean, they got more modes and stuff. It's just it's the We Listen to You edition. I remember talking to Frank when he first over. He's like, we have modes planned, we have all these things planned,
Yeah.
and just nothing. And I get player base is a huge factor, but I just
Well, I wonder if at what point they're like, "Hey, look, we know, just cut it off, boys. We can totally milk this shit with like map drops and cosmetics. Pumpkins will buy them all, and then we can just move forward."
VR chat channel.
Rogue,
He has
there
a
is a
dead
trailer
pet.
for Crossfire. It looks awesome. We were talking about that in the last podcast that it's actually like a franchise from like Asia.
And it's like
And
a big franchise, like six
yeah,
games. It has its own like TV series over there. It's friggin'
yeah, it looks.
it's hilariously
We were
big.
we were joking that it looks like what we all wanted Bravo Team to be.
Yeah, right. Zero love for the franchise. Yeah, Space Denizen. It's not really. I mean, I'm not sure where you're at, Space Denizen, but it's never been a franchise that's made it over to America. So I can't really say.
I
I've
can't really
heard
speak
mixed.
that when you Wikipedia, it's like a big deal. Like at
Yeah,
least it's
yeah.
got TV shows and everything.
Must be
So
big. Must be good if it's got a TV show.
I'm just saying it's got a follow.
I know. I know. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just being a dick.
I know the trailer looks cool, and so we're basing it off the trailer, right? It just looks like just imagine everything you thought Bravo Team was going to be. Um, I do think it might be one of those games where it's like way better with a friend, but we'll see. I also said it looks like kind of like Zero Caliber
Mhm.
on crack, and and like and visually impressive. I don't know. That's just I still like just going through that launch lineup with you. I'm just like I'm like, well,
More is coming. We
where's
know
the
more is
crack?
coming. We
You
know
know,
more is coming.
and like so since someone was saying there like Sony really want to see Sony put some money where their mouth is and uh and start releasing some games. I mean, Sony might be looking at it going, look, we paid for Res 8 already, which they probably did. The VR mod at least. And
Yeah, but I
that's
mean,
what they did on Res 7 too. But I'm just saying they're like, we paid for that. You're getting Horizon, Call the Mountain. That doesn't look like a cheap game. They're like, we made the headset for you.
yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I'm really curious to see. I'm still expecting one more big game.
They could be yes, I am too, GT7. Um, they could be playing the Nintendo game and just like being careful with the fact that they stagger the big titles. The titles that they're that
For
they're
sure.
that they're funding, right? Because they don't because that is limited.
No,
You know,
I said it much. I want to see a steady stream of big releases over the course of the next, well, for as long as the lifespan goes. So obviously you can't just have, like I said, a nightmare scenario would be like 20 big, huge, massive games where we're just like overloaded with so much good. We can't possibly get to these 100+ hour games because we're just like, like that. No one wants that. I mean, as much as you want to have access to everything, having it all at once just doesn't do anybody well either. So I do understand the need to stagger it for sure. That being said, with what they've announced so far, I just feel like they need one new big VR game, whether it's an established franchise in VR or a brand new VR game from an established studio that's like going to be that they're promising to be huge, but they need something big.
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause
Flamehat brought up, Astro. I wouldn't be stunned to see Astro be, a launch title. Wouldn't be shocked, at least.
Neither
Um,
would I, but yeah, neither would I.
I agree with Nabi, though. They were saying that, like, staggering's fine, but they should say something. I mean, this goes back to what we talked about before.
They will.
I also feel like they're like, it's not coming out this fall, you know what I mean? Like, this is not a holiday release, so Sony doesn't need to pump up the hype train yet.
Nope.
In fact, they probably wanna try to keep it at a certain simmer because they like, people are like, "Oh, the people are like, "This pre-order launch went off, like, really smoothly." It's like, "Yeah," and part of that was probably because Sony didn't get a bunch of flat gamers, like, hard, over, like, games, that they might really wanna make the VR jump to. Like, they're it does feel like a soft launch.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a few other questions that were asked here, but nothing that really jumps out at me as far as that wasn't already answered in chat. Although somebody did mention about we were talking about like waiting to play games about GT7 on a gamepad. I actually played it on a gamepad, and I also have a full racing rig, and so that was kind of a thing where I was like, I don't really want to bring my PS5 downstairs and plug it into my racing rig. So, and also the rig is set up for only VR games now. There's no screen in front of it, so it was kind of like, what was I going to do? And I will say, GT7 is pretty awesome on the pad. It is an example of a game that was really designed to take advantage of the PS5 dual haptics, and it's pretty awesome from the rumble to the brake pressure, just to the sense of traction loss in the back end on the triggers and stuff. It's uh, it's just a sweet little title on the controller, and so yeah, I mean, it's gonna be awesome to play both ways. I think I actually said to someone that like GT7 on a control pad was one of the only few times I played a racing game where I didn't feel the need to go running to my racing seat. It was it just felt really really dialed in.
Assuming GT7 is coming to VR.
Starblood 2, yeah, Starblood 2 or Riot, Rob. And, Pop and Space Innocent Pop 1, man, I don't know. I don't know, I mean, Big Box is owned by Meta.
Yeah, but they're trading games right now. I
I know they
mean,
are, but
so there. I think there's a pretty decent chance.
I think there's a good chance because it's a numbers game with that.
Yeah, I agree.
I I personally here's a deep cut, I'd like to see Larson get second life with cross
Sure.
with cross-platform, like,
Yeah, and cross-platform honestly is a must at this point. If it's not
and
cross-platform, then you're doing your game a massive disservice.
and for those of you who don't remember or know, because it wasn't on a PlayStation console, Larcenauts was made by the guys who did Farpoint
Yeah.
Studio, which I always forget the name of them.
Impulse Gear.
Thank you. And
Welcome.
what the hell is Impulse Gear working on? Hmm? Hmm?
Farpoint 2. We all know it's Farpoint 2. Chris,
I know.
let's wrap this up.
Fine.
It's an hour and a half. We're good. We're good. Guy, I'm gonna wrap it. You know what? Screw you, Chris.
I
I'm gonna
actually
wrap
do
this up.
have a
No,
rump rumbler and a taint
God,
tingler, Rob. I feel like this is how we ended the episode off last week, was Rob and I getting inappropriate. But yes, I do have a rump rumbler and a taint tingler. I just sit on the gear shift is basically what I do, but that's another episode altogether.
it's
Uh,
not. Guys, I want to thank you so much once again for tuning in live. We really appreciate you. Absolutely, you guys are freaking amazing. We're so happy to see you here. All the familiar faces and names. Shout out to, of course, to Salvador, Wonder Rob, and all of our patrons, for donating to the cause. We are putting money to good use. PlayStation VR 2s, I guess, but no, we're actually working on not that. We're actually working on like cameras and mics and that kind of thing to make this podcast a better podcast. And obviously the VR grid thing, man. It's been a transition for both of us, and we are so happy that you were along for the ride.
yeah, there's a lot more that we want to do, and we have some plans. I mean, we even talked in an intro video there about doing some kind of a TikTok thing. I don't know. We don't know what that's going to look like yet. We want to do some kind of a short thing. But it's really just trying to like figure out
No one
timing
watching
and
cares about
schedule.
that. They're all in our age group.
They're all our age group. They're fucking TikTok.
We're just pandering over
I
here.
just figured out the YouTube.
The YouTube.
Um, ooh, sometimes he sits backwards. Yeah, reverse cowgirl on my racing seat.
All right, you two can stop making out now. I think we're killing this podcast here.
Rob, I think we just need to play a game together. We need to get this out of our system.
Apparently.
Anyways, guys, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. Again, we've talked about it before, but with the rebranding of the channel and canning Virtual Boys and bringing it over to here and stuff, we're just fighting the algorithm. So anything you guys can do to spread the word and you know hitting the like button, subscribing if you haven't. I would imagine most people sitting around. I've noticed a lot of you have been sitting through the whole episode. It's freaking wicked. I just love the live stuff. I was actually really looking forward to tonight.
Yeah,
Just
you were distracted all night.
just sit here and shoot the shit. And so um thanks again everyone for participating in the chat and tuning in. And if you haven't watched it already, go check out my Aspire 2 review. And if Ryan can get his crap together, he'll have a review up for Broken Edge.
I've been busy.
And I'll just put it right here. Keep an eye on the channel Monday
Oh yeah, right.
for Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Retribution 2. I don't even know if the
It's a
2
preview. It's a
is the 2
preview.
even in there? No,
No, it's not a 2 because it's not a sequel. It's like a next part, next chapter.
I've seen enough to know to say it looks like it's a pretty decent sequel. But guys, I don't know what else to say. Thank you.
Good. Shut up.
Yeah,
My
Ryan got
God.
killed.
Oh.
Right, mute. Where's that mute button we talked about last episode? Um, what I was gonna say was Monday there will be a full blown preview of Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners Retribution. So keep an eye on that. Um, that'll be up my alley if I can get access, which is supposed to be happening
All right,
any
now you're
moment.
just rambling. You're rambling now, Chris.
You know what?
I don't care. Say goodbye, Chris.
Goodbye, Chris.
All right, we're done.